So what we're going to look at here is a classic example of overloading a method so that we can get some more use out of it. So I'm going to explain as we go what overloading is and how it works. So imagine that what we wanted to do here is we wanted to draw a triangle. So what I want to do is I want to have a method called draw triangle, and then what I want to do is I want to set a size. So this will be maybe height, and then what it's going to do is it's going to draw a triangle of whatever height that I enter. So what we'll need for that is we'll need our height variable, and we'll prompt the user for the height. You know what, we're going to adjust this to shape, and then we can make this reusable for a few different purposes. So we're going to say enter the height of the shape, and then the height is going to become input.nextInt, and then that is going to go to the draw triangle. So now when we're drawing a triangle, it includes a couple different things. So we're going to need some stars to form the actual shape of the triangle, and then we're also going to need some spaces as well. So what we're going to do is create a method here called public static void drawbar. And what this is going to do is it is going to draw a bar of stars of whatever length that we decide to give it. So this is going to be draw a bar. And we'll specify that this is the mark of length x. Okay, so the loop for this is we're going to write a for loop that goes from int I equals 1 to I is less than or equal to the length, and then we'll go I plus plus. And then we'll give it a system.out.print, and we'll do a star here. Okay. So what's going to happen is if we use this, so I'll turn this into a comment just so that we can test it. If I call drawbar 5 and then run the program, of course the height input is not going to be relevant here. So we'll put a 5 or 10. And what I get here is I've got my bar of 5 stars. So this is what the drawbar 5 is going to need. Now, a couple other things that we need is we're going to need spaces. So rather than create a new one called draw spaces, what I want to do is I want to make a version of drawbar. So this would be kind of like the default version. So unless I say otherwise, I want this one to draw a bar of stars. However, if I give this a different mark, what I want it to do is instead draw a bar of length x of that mark. So what we're going to do here then is we are going to have another method. So public static void, we're going to call this one drawbar. So this is our example of overloading. Overloading doesn't mean maybe what you'd think initially, is that we are loading a word with two different meanings. So this meaning is going to draw a bar of stars, and the one that we create here is going to draw a bar of something else. So the way we differentiate between them is by the parameters. So it will know that, so right now these are identical, but as soon as I put in an additional thing, as when I put in this character variable, what it's going to do is it's going to recognize that now this is a different method. So this is draw a bar with the mark of length x. Suppose if I'm using chars, maybe the thing to do here would be just to keep this consistent, represent the star as a char variable as well. I had it as a string before. So anyway, what we're going to do here now is we will draw our bar of whatever mark. So I'm going to copy paste, and here instead of the star we're going to get our mark. Okay, so now we're nearly ready to draw the triangle, but I'll show you just this as an example. So drawbar, and this time I'm going to do 10, and the mark is going to be a $sign. So if I run this, put a semicolon. If I run this, now I'm going to get a bar of 5 stars and then a bar of 10 $signs here. So that's what I get here. Now, one of the other things that we're going to show in this program is how we can go from one method to another and actually call methods from inside methods. So the standard practice here is to always put, so I'm going to put a method that uses drawbar. So the method that uses drawbar is going to be underneath it, and that'll be the sequence. So what I want to do is I would have preferred that these be on different lines. So I'm going to make a public static void drawbar ln. I'm going to use the println terminology for this. So drawbar ln is going to have its length. And now what I want to do in this one is I want to draw a bar of this size, and then I want to skip to the next line. So I don't have to redo this, this loop because I've already got it. So I'm going to go drawbar length and then system.out.println. And that's going to accomplish exactly what I need. So I've got my drawbar ln reference drawbar because I already have this work taken care of up here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a drawbar ln for this one as well. Drawbar ln, I need the same parameters for this. So I'm going to do drawbar. This one will reference length, comma, mark. So I'm really just passing these the values of these variables along. And then I'll do system.out.println just to skip down to the next line. Okay, so I've got my bars, I've got something that can handle some spaces here. Now what I want to do is I want to draw a triangle. So let's get to the actual triangle method. So I'm going to go public, static, void, draw triangle. And what I need here is I need the height. So I'm going to take the height value from the main program. And here is the trick for drawing the triangle. So I'm just going to put this as a little bit of a comment. Now imagine we had a triangle of height 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then the line above it would have 1, 2, 3 stars, and then the line above it has 1 star. Now I'm also going to physically put the spaces in here so that you can see them. Maybe I'm just going to space everything forward by 1 so it maintains with the tabbing. Okay, so if I was marking the spaces, I'm going to do them with equal signs so that you can see what's happening. Equals, equals, and then equals. Okay. So on the first line of the tree, I need 1 star, and then an amount of spaces that is going to push it over, basically similar to the height of the tree. So let's see how this compares from a 3 height tree to a 4 height tree. So if I do a 4 height tree, this is what it'll look like. And then the final line. So as we increase the height of the tree, the amount of spaces goes up by 1 every time. And on the very first line of the tree, the amount of spaces is equal to the height of the tree minus 1. So we'll need an amount of spaces, and that's going to start at our first value. It's always the height minus 1. And that's how many spaces we'll need for the first line. So we'll need the amount of spaces, I'll pluralize that, and then we also need the amount of stars. Now, no matter how high the tree is, the amount of stars on the top of the tree is always 1. So we'll also put int stars, not starts, stars equals 1. Okay. So now what we need to do is we're going to create a loop that will go from the top of the tree to the bottom and print the correct amount of these each time. So we're going to do, and our while condition is going to be based on the amount of spaces. And I'll show you why. So this is going to be while spaces is larger than or equal to 0. So when I get to a level that has 0 spaces left that I've printed, I know that's the last layer of the tree. I mean, you could, or sorry, not tree, triangle. So anyway, we've got our do while loop here. So now on the first line, what I have to do is first draw the spaces. So I'm going to invoke Drawbar, and this one will require an amount of spaces, and the mark that I'm printing for this is going to be a space character. So I'm going to send a space to it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to use Drawbar ln, and then I am going to tell it to do the amount of stars. Now the only thing that I have to do left is to correctly adjust these 2 variables before I do the next layer of the triangle. So note how spaces decreases. 3, then 2, then 1, and then 0. 2, and then 1, and then 0. So every time you go to another line, you're going to increase the amount of spaces. So, decrease by 1. So spaces minus minus will reduce it by 1. Now, the next thing that you're going to do is figure out how many stars you need. So I've got 1, and then 3, and then 5, and then 7, and then it would be 9, and then 11. So every time it grows by 2. So the amount of stars, we're going to go plus equals 2. So now I'm going to remove the comment from draw triangle, and we don't need these drawbars here, and we'll run the program and then see what we've got. Okay, enter the height of the shape. So I'm going to put in 5, and you can see that on the first line I get 4 spaces and then a star, and then on the last line I get no spaces and then a whole bunch of stars. You can keep this going for pretty much any size. So if I wanted a triangle of height 15, you can do that using these 2 methods. So overloading lets you use the same name. So we did this for Drawbar, and then we did it for Drawbar ln, and they act as different methods as long as you have a different set of parameters. So typically I will use this one of them as like a default, and then another one, like if I need something that is different from the default version, I'd give it the same name and then just give it an extra piece of information to work with.